Hi friends, E.C. Maltbia here, Senior Pastor of the True Holiness Saints Center in the beautiful city of Conway, Arkansas. And you know what time it is. It is Wednesday Word time. So what is our Wednesday Word for tonight? Our Wednesday Word is anger. And the truth of the matter is this: all of us can relate to times in our lives when inappropriate anger was expressed in a destructive manner. So I thought what we'd do just for the next few minutes is give you 3 reasons why anger expressed inappropriately can be so destructive. The first way that anger expressed inappropriately can be destructive is inappropriate anger causes conflicts in relationships. Yeah, inappropriate anger causes conflict in relationships. The Bible says it best in Proverbs 15 and 18. It says, a hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. So here's the question tonight. When it comes to engaging in conflict, are you known as a peacemaker or are you known as an instigator? When it comes to engaging in conflict, are you known to put water on the fire to put it out? Or are you known to throw on a log or two? When it comes to conflict, you cannot be a hot-tempered person. In fact, I want to encourage you to allow cooler heads to prevail. You've got to understand, God is looking for Christians that are intentional in staying calm and de-escalating conflict. God is looking for Christians who are not going to instigate and to escalate anger to a place that it becomes inappropriate and dishonoring to the person we're talking to and to our God. Therefore, it is imperative that we as Christians learn to manage our emotions. What does it mean to manage your emotions, Pastor Maltbia? And there are a lot of things that we could talk about, but let me mention a couple to you tonight. We manage our emotions, first of all, by identifying the things that trigger our anger. Yeah, we've got to find those warning signs that trigger our anger. And once we learn those trigger points, as the old folks would say, we govern ourselves accordingly. Now, governing yourself accordingly might mean that you avoid people, places, and things that often trigger your anger. But the reality of the matter is, we can't avoid every annoying person. We can't avoid every place that gets on our last nerve. So sometimes you've got to be strategic and take those people and places in small, manageable bites. And then when it comes to managing your emotions and conflict happens and you can't avoid it, sometimes you've got to get a neutral person whom both of you trust, who can mitigate between you and them to resolve your conflict. So when it comes to anger that's being expressed in an inappropriate manner, a destructive anger that destroys relationships, you've got to watch that inappropriate behavior. But then secondly tonight, inappropriate anger causes foolish behavior. Yeah. Anger expressed in an inappropriate manner always causes foolish behavior. Proverbs again says in Proverbs 14 and 17, the A clause, a quick-tempered person does foolish things. And the reality of the matter is this: all of us have been inappropriate in our anger at one time or another in our life. We let our emotions get the best of us, and we ended up saying or doing things that we later regretted. Quick-tempered people do foolish things. So here are some common mistakes we tend to make when our anger is out of control. Here are some foolish steps we tend to make. Number one, we often ignore our anger until it reaches a boiling point. The best thing to do is to address your anger when it's a small irritation. Don't let it get to the boiling point. The best thing to do is to address your anger when it's simply a minor annoyance. The reason we're foolish in our behavior is because we allow our anger to get to a place of intensity that it ends up exploding. But instead of ignoring it when it's small, we've got to address it when it's easy to kill. But then secondly, we commonly blame other people or situations for our angry outbursts. Yeah. We commonly blame other people or other situations for our angry outbursts. In other words, never give people that much power over you that they can control your emotions to the point that they can control your mood, your mindset, and your level of anger. Social media quote for tonight: you choose your response. If you don't get anything else that Pastor Maltbia says tonight, always remember you choose your response. In any situation, you choose how you respond to the challenges of this life. And if we're ever going to beat inappropriate anger, we've got to own the fact that we choose our response. It wasn't the other person that made you cuss or fuss. It wasn't the other person that made you hit the wall or break your own stuff. It wasn't that situation that made you have a bad attitude and ruin everybody else's day or experience. We've got to own it that we choose our response. When it comes to anger, always remember, inappropriate anger causes conflicts in relationships. Inappropriate anger causes foolish behavior. And here's the last one, and I'm going to get out of here for this Wednesday. Inappropriate anger causes us to blow things out of proportion. Proverbs 19 and 11 from the ESV version. It says, good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is to his glory to overlook an offense. If you got good common sense, there are some things that you just let slip on by. There are some people and some situations that we've got to learn how to simply forgive, overlook, and move on. Forgive, overlook, and move on. We've got to understand every mistake and every mishap doesn't have to be a big deal. Oftentimes it's us that blow things out of proportion. Sometimes you need to tell yourself it's not that serious. Sometimes you need to tell yourself just let it go. Yes, they pulled out in front of you and seemingly driving 2 miles an hour and you're late for an appointment. But it's not worth you laying on your horn, being aggressive in your driving and tailgating them for the next 3 miles. Everything is not worth a response from you. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, self, let it go. Everything a person says to you doesn't need a response from you. Everything that a person says about you doesn't need you to take up all the time and energy it takes to chase it down. Every unpleasant circumstance doesn't need your focus, your time, or your energy. There are some things that we blow out of proportion. We've got to learn to forgive, overlook, and move on. Our Wednesday word tonight is anger. And we have all been in situations where our inappropriate anger has caused destructive behavior. Always remember, inappropriate anger causes conflicts in our relationships. Inappropriate behavior causes us to do foolish things. And inappropriate behavior, if you let it, will cause you to blow things out of proportion. Listen, ma'ams and sirs, just before we conclude our Wednesday night word, I want to remind you that the first Sunday coming up, the first Sunday is March, is our annual Family and Friends Day. If you have enjoyed True Holiness Saint Center through our social media platforms, if you have enjoyed us on the radio, if you've enjoyed us in other areas, I want to encourage you to be my special guest this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. It's a family affair. Dress casual, dress dressy, just come to enjoy the Lord. Until I speak to you again, be blessed.